Hi everyone, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. I'm really happy you're here. Tonight, we're going to go on a calm and quiet trip to learn something amazing. So get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy this peaceful science story together. Before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it for you right now? If you like relaxing science videos, don't forget to tap the like button. Now let's begin. Somewhere a long time ago, a star collapsed. Not with noise, but with light. It lived a life of fire and pressure, of fusion and radiance, and then it folded into itself, giving everything it had left in one last brilliant breath. That final moment, though it happened billions of years ago and so far away, still lives inside you. Because what was left behind by that star didn't disappear. It scattered. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen in your breath. These were forged in the heart of a dying star, and you don't usually think about stars when brushing your teeth or when your heart beats in the quiet of night. But each movement, each breath, carries the soft echo of that ancient furnace. You're not just made of cells, you're made of memory. A memory so old that even time cannot touch it. The atoms in your body have drifted through the cosmos. Before you were ever here, they were part of rivers and rocks, part of roots and rain. And before that, part of planets and meteorites, and before that, light, heat, core, star. This story starts not with you, but with dust, stardust. The smallest pieces of broken stars carried across space by waves invisible to the eye. They wandered until they found new homes, in clouds of gas, in new solar systems, in young planets still warm from birth. On one of those planets, water settled, light danced, and chemistry began to dream. And inside those dreams, something stirred, something alive. Slowly, over millions of years, the stardust began to walk, to feel, to sing, to wonder. That wonder, your wonder, is also made of dust. And this is how it began. Long before your name, before your language, before your ancestors, there were stars. And long before the stars, there was only silence, the silence of the early universe, a soft, invisible hum. Until one day, gravity pulled a little more than usual, and gas gathered in swirls and folds. From that stillness, something began to burn. The first stars flickered into being, like tiny candles in a vast, dark cathedral. These stars weren't like our sun. They were massive, quick to live and quick to die. They lived in fast forward, burning bright and ending in explosions so powerful they could push time itself. These supernovae, as they're called, were the great recyclers. They took the simple and made it complex. They made gold, they made carbon, they made the stuff that would become forests and fish and fingerprints. And they didn't choose where to send it. They just gave it freely. Outward, always outward, into galaxies still forming, into spaces still empty. And some of it found Earth. The Earth was still young then, hot, spinning, cracking open like a shell. But it held on to the dust. It held on tight. And it built from it, mountains, rivers, clouds, and eventually you. You might not feel like a star when you wake up tired or walk through rain, but inside your bloodstream the iron still whispers the story of supernovae. Every red blood cell carries it like a song with no words, a rhythm that says, I came from something vast. I am not alone in the universe. I am the universe. We forget this sometimes. We live in buildings and wear clothes and look at screens. We don't always look up. But the truth is always there. Inside your body is a map of galaxies. You don't need a telescope to see the stars. You are made of them. In your fingernails, you carry calcium born in the cores of exploding giants. In your breath, oxygen that drifted through space before finding a home in our atmosphere. Your skin, your hair, your heart, they are built from parts of the universe that once glowed. Even your thoughts, electrical pulses jumping from one neuron to another, are possible because of elements shaped by starfire. Your thinking, your dreaming, your quiet moments of stillness, all of them are echoes of stellar birth. And so, in a very real way, you are the child of stars. Not in poetry, but in atoms, in chemistry, in the soft truth of science. This connection doesn't need belief. It only asks for wonder, for stillness, for you to close your eyes and feel the weight of it. The next time you sit quietly in the dark, know that you're never really far from the stars. You are stitched together by them. You are held by them. The stars don't just shine above you, they shine within you. And somewhere, out in the vastness, more stars are dying, more are being born. The cycle continues, giving, releasing, dust dancing once more into the unknown. One day, long from now, your atoms will return to that dance. They will rise, break apart, and wander again. Maybe they will become part of a tree or a moon, or someone else, but they will remember, because stardust does not forget. It only changes form. Now imagine drifting deeper into this thought, that you are not just from the stars, but of them, that everything you feel, from your heartbeat to your breath, is a continuation of a much older rhythm. One that began not with your birth, but with light echoing across time. The stardust inside you is not quiet. It carries a memory soft and slow that hums with the music of galaxies. Stars do not just explode, they give, they release. In the death of a star, the universe receives its most precious gifts. It is in those moments of collapse that the heaviest elements are born. Copper, nickel, uranium, all forged in the pressure of falling light. And as those elements scatter, they seed the dark with potential. One of those seeds was Earth. When Earth was young, it was a place of fire and ash, volcanoes spilled heat, lightning broke the sky, oceans boiled, then cooled, and into this shifting world came the pieces of stars, carried by comets, hidden in rocks, floating through air. These pieces did not come with instructions, but they came with possibility. Slowly, gently, they began to rearrange themselves. A molecule formed, then another. Bonds shaped in water under heat inside rock. It took a long time, no rush. The universe is patient, and eventually the molecules began to copy themselves, to change, to sense, to live. Life did not burst into being. It curled like smoke. It whispered into the deep. And even then, even as single cells floated in oceans older than continents, they were already carrying the story of the stars. They divided, multiplied, and over time they began to feel the sun, not just the heat, but the rhythm, the way light arrived and then left, the way shadows moved. These simple lives began to respond. They learned to follow light, to wait for warmth, to move with time, and time too is written in stardust, because time itself is shaped by the gravity of stars. They bend it, stretch it, wrap it around them like a river around stone, and you, walking on this small planet, are living within that curve. Your sense of morning and night, of seasons and years, comes from the dance between your planet and the sun, another star, still burning, still giving. Your body listens to that rhythm. It sleeps when the darkness falls. It wakes when light returns. Your heart beats and slows with the rise and fall of that star's presence. Plants know it. Animals know it. You know it too, even if you never notice. It is written inside you like ink inside paper. And deeper still inside your cells, the memory continues. Your DNA is shaped by time, by change, by survival under starlight. Evolution is not just a history of bones and fossils. It is a slow remembering, a rewriting, a gentle push toward awareness. And now here you are, able to look up at the sky and wonder where you came from. The stars gave you the materials, time gave you the shape, and life gave you the questions. Questions like, why do we long to go to space? Why do we feel something when we look at the night sky? Why do we say things like home when we talk about the stars? It might be because the atoms inside us remember, not with words, but with quiet ache, a kind of homesickness, a longing not for a place, but for a time when we were scattered light, when we floated, weightless, in the silence between galaxies, before we had names, before we had fears, before we had skin. And still, part of you is there, not just in memory, but in truth, in the energy that powers your muscles, in the spark that carries thoughts across your brain, in the breath that enters your lungs and leaves again without effort. These are the soft echoes of fusion, of gravity, of a universe still unfolding. You are not separate from space, you are not standing beneath the stars, you are among them, between them, made by them. The separation is an illusion of distance, but in reality everything touches everything. Light from the sun touches your skin, you absorb it, use it, carry it, and then release it back into the world. You radiate just a little, like a warm stone after sunset. And perhaps that is why comfort is found in starlight. Why we feel peace when we lie under the sky. The stars don't speak, but they remember. And through them, you remember too. The carbon in your breath, the nitrogen in your muscles, the hydrogen in every drop of water you drink. All were born in stars, and those stars were born in clouds, and those clouds were born from even older stars, a chain of birth and death that goes so far back it becomes something like eternity. You are the result of every spark that ever lit the dark, of every collision, every fusion, every quiet release of light. Your life, brief and small as it seems, is part of a much older pulse, a beat that started long before humans, long before Earth, and it continues now, in you. So when you move, when you breathe, when you rest your hand on your heart, know that you are participating in something cosmic. You're stardust, yes, but you're also the movement of dust into thought, into love, into wonder. And isn't that a miracle? That the universe not only created stars, but also made something that could reflect on them, that could speak their names, that could write this sentence. The stars made you, and now through your gaze they see themselves. Let it settle now, the quiet truth that everything you are, everything you feel began in the furnace of stars. It's easy to forget in the noise of modern life. The clocks, the cities, the weight of routine. But beneath all that, your body is still listening to a much older story. The story of dust becoming breath, of fire becoming flesh, of stars becoming song. There is something sacred in that transformation, not in a religious sense, but in a cosmic one. Because the universe did not rush. It waited, it cooled, it allowed atoms to find each other again and again until something new arrived. Awareness, life. And in that awareness, a softness, a curiosity, a gentle reaching toward meaning. You are that reaching. Even now the stars are shaping you. Their gravity pulls on your oceans, their light grows your food, their rhythm sets your sleep. But more than that, their legacy lives inside you, in the way your neurons fire, in the way your thoughts form and dissolve. The iron in your blood helps carry oxygen to your brain, which lets you dream. And in your dreams you sometimes fly, float, wander among stars you've never seen up close, but your atoms remember them. So rest in this. You do not need to go to space to be part of it. You're already home. You're not on the outside looking in. You're the inside remembering itself. Your heartbeat is the echo of a supernova. Your bones are the cooled ash of ancient galaxies. Your breath is part of the same cycle that moves between planets and moons, cradling life wherever it finds space to grow. And life, what a delicate flame it is, born from dust and gravity. It flickers in countless forms, trees, whales, people, all of them carrying the same stardust, just arranged in different patterns. All of them participating in the same ancient dance. All of them wondering in their own way what it means to be alive. To be human is to ask questions the stars cannot answer. But it is also to carry answers the stars will never ask. You bring warmth, thought, story, and in return the universe gives you silence, depth, beauty, a balance, a quiet exchange. Sometimes it feels like the universe is too vast to care about small things like a human life, but it is in the small things that the vastness becomes meaningful. A whisper, a tear, a laugh in the dark. These are the soft sparks that make all the fire worth it. These are the places where stardust learns to feel. And when you lie beneath the sky, when you look up and see 1,000 tiny lights, remember, they are not above you, they are within you. The stars do not need your worship, they do not demand your awe, but they offer it freely anyway. They shine for themselves, yes, but they shine for you too, and someday, long after you are gone, the atoms that formed your body will find new homes, in plants, in rivers, in other people, and eventually they may drift up again, carried on the wind, caught in a flame, rising into the atmosphere. Some may even escape this planet, ride comets, fall into suns, begin again. That's what stardust does. It never ends. It never stays still. It keeps becoming, and so will you, in a million quiet ways. Every breath, every kindness, every thought passed from one person to another is a kind of continuation, a kind of cosmic memory. You're not just made of stardust, you are part of the story it tells, and the story is not finished. Not yet. Even now the stars are still writing it. The moon does not shout. It does not blaze or burn. It simply waits, hanging like a pearl in the darkness, pulling softly on the world below. To most it's just a quiet light in the night sky. But to the oceans, it is a command. To the tides, it is a breath. And to your body, though you may not feel it, it is a whisper felt deep in your blood. The moon is not distant. It is closer than we think. Not in miles, but in memory, in rhythm, in pulse. Every 28 days it circles us, changing shape in the sky. Not because it is changing, but because of the way light touches it. And every time it moves, it pulls. Not only the seas, but everything with water. And you, more than half made of water, cannot help but listen. Your blood, thick with salt and memory, moves with a rhythm older than your name. It follows a clock not made by humans, but carved by the moon itself. Your body's internal tides rise and fall in silent agreement. You may not notice it when you sleep or speak or cry, but your molecules do. They are still listening to the sky. Long ago, when Earth was young and life was new, the moon loomed larger in the sky. The days were shorter, the tides more wild, and the first life clung to the edge of water and land, rocked back and forth by the moon's soft hands. Those early cells swam in seas that moved not of their own will, but because the moon told them to. They learned to adapt, to respond, to follow the pattern. As life crawled from ocean to earth, the rhythm came with it. And now, even though we walk on dry land and live far from the shore, we still carry the sea inside us. Every heartbeat is a wave, every breath a tide. The moon reaches us not with fingers, but with gravity. It doesn't care whether we believe, it only pulls. This pull is gentle, but constant. It tugs on lakes and rivers, yes, but also on the water inside you. Scientists have wondered for years, does the moon affect our sleep, our emotions, our dreams? The answers are quiet, but they are there. In studies, in cycles, in shadows we barely notice. Some people sleep worse during full moons. Others feel more restless, more aware. Not all science agrees. But your body does not need a study to feel the sky. Your body is a landscape just like the earth. It has valleys and peaks, currents and seasons, and the moon does not ignore it. It pulls on your blood as it does the tides. It speaks in movement, in balance, in gravity. And though your ears cannot hear it, your cells do. Even your circadian rhythm, the inner clock that tells you when to wake, when to rest, once moved with the moon. Now it listens to light, to phones, to schedules. But beneath all that noise, the moon still beats gently against your bones. Women's cycles often align with lunar cycles, not by coincidence but by memory, a deep genetic echo of a time when life watched the sky to know when to grow, when to bleed, when to be still. The moon was the first calendar, the first timekeeper, the first mirror in the dark, and still it moves, round and round, changing shape without ever changing itself. New moon, waxing, full, waning, and again. The moon does not pause, it does not forget, it simply follows its path, pulling Earth's water behind it like a tide of breath. You are not separate from this. You never were. You are a tide wrapped in skin, a sea hidden in bone, a rhythm made of salt and gravity. The next time you look up and see the moon, remember, it is not just watching you. It is reaching for you, not with light, but with pull, with force, with memory. You are not just on Earth, you are of Earth, and Earth dances with the moon. And so do you. Let's drift deeper now, not into the moonlight, but into what it stirs inside you. Think of all the water in your body, in your blood, your brain, your muscles, your breath. You are a walking ocean, a collection of tides held in place by skin and gravity. And though it happens silently, the moon is always speaking to that water. Not with words, but with weight. A kind of slow, invisible persuasion that makes things shift. Not quickly, but meaningfully. You might wonder how something so far away could touch something so close. But the moon's gravity doesn't need closeness. It needs mass. It needs patience. It doesn't grab. It guides. It stretches. Just as it lifts the ocean's edges into tides, it gently coaxes your internal world to move. It doesn't crash through your veins like a storm. It moves like breath, like a slow inhaling of the soul. Some scientists argue the moon's pull on your body is too small to matter. But matter isn't the only measure of meaning. Sometimes it's not the strength of the force, but the consistency. The moon never stops pulling. Every night, every hour, always in the same direction. And your body, whether it listens through science or instinct, still answers, still adjusts, still follows. There's an old belief found in many cultures that the moon can stir emotions, cause madness, even awaken dreams. The word lunatic comes from luna, the Latin for moon, because people noticed a strange stirring around the full moon. Restlessness, vibrancy, sleeplessness. These are not myths, they are observations passed down through thousands of nights. And while the science may not yet explain it all, your body remembers. The moonlight doesn't shine, it reflects. It is sunlight softened by distance, filtered by stone. And still, even this borrowed light changes things. It makes flowers open at night. It makes coral release its eggs into the sea. It makes animals sing. And it makes humans feel something. Something hard to name. A mix of stillness and awe. A gentle remembering of how small, how connected, how old we are. You feel it when you stand alone beneath the moon. That quiet tug behind your ribs. That gentle ache in your chest. It's not loneliness. It's gravity. It's the moon calling your molecules home, reminding them that they once floated in seawater and before that in stardust. You are not a stranger to the moon. You are a piece of earth that it chose to hold. Even the bones in your body feel the moon. Calcium born in ancient stars now forms the structure of your frame, and those bones, dense and steady, still carry the rhythm of night and day, light and dark, pull and release. The same rhythm that guides the moon's orbit is inside your spine, your joints, your breath. This is no accident. It is designed through time. There is a pulse in your body that has nothing to do with your heart. It is slower, quieter, but just as real. It moves with the moon. It sings not in beats, but in tides, in moods, in moments where your thoughts shift for no reason, where your body feels more tender, more porous. The moon does not ask for your attention, but it notices when you give it. And when the moon is full, something rises, not just in the sky, but inside you. A brightness, a clarity, a fullness of thought. It is the peak of the lunar cycle, when everything glows a little brighter. When shadows soften, when silence becomes music. Some people write more under a full moon, others cry more, some feel a strange joy, others can't sleep. All of this is real. All of this is the body answering a call that began long before words. The moon keeps no clock. It turns not by time but by gravity, by light, by orbit. And yet in doing so it created the first sense of time for early life on Earth. Long before there were watches, there were moons. They told us when to plant, when to gather, when to rest. The moon gave the night shape, gave the dark a heartbeat. And perhaps that is its greatest gift, not just the tide, but the rhythm. A cycle we can trust, waxing, waning, coming, going, always returning, always changing, but always familiar. You too move in cycles, not just your biology, but your emotions, your energy, your dreams. You expand, you contract, you reflect, you begin again. The moon doesn't need permission to pull, and you don't need permission to feel, to respond, to honour the small shifts in your body. You're allowed to feel different under different moons. You're allowed to pause when the sky is dark, to shine when it's bright. You are a living tide, a breath in motion, a lunar echo shaped like a person. And the moon, still turning, still pulling, still watching, is not separate from you. It is your companion in the dark, your oldest silent friend. The moon does not rise and fall, it stays, and the earth turned beneath it. That is what makes the illusion. That is what makes the magic. You are not just watching the moon move, you are moving with it. Even now, let this final drift take you deeper, not into the sky above, but into the still water within. The moon is full again tonight, round and radiant. Its light reaches your skin, soft and silver, and though it does not warm you, it touches you all the same. In its glow, something stirs in your breath, your chest, your memories. This is not superstition. This is memory without language, a remembering not of events, but of rhythm. The moon knows your name not in words, but in waves. As you sit in stillness, it's worth knowing, Your body doesn't resist the moon. It joins it. With every heartbeat, a subtle sway. With every breath, a gentle fall and rise. You are not resisting gravity. You're made by it. You belong to this dance. And yet, for all its pull, the moon has never spoken. It has never sent a message. It does not boast. It simply moves. Around and around, always returning to where it once was. It teaches patience, not by words, but by orbit. It reminds us that cycles do not mean repetition, they mean trust. What fades will return, what darkens will brighten. What feels distant will come near again. Even our emotions mirror this lunar rhythm. Joy rises, sorrow pulls back, hope waxes, fear wanes. We cycle through ourselves over and over, and in this motion there is meaning. You were not built to stay one way. You were built to change, to adapt, to reflect light in different phases, just like the moon. Some nights you are full, glowing, overflowing with light. You speak with clarity. You shine with confidence. On other nights, you are only a sliver of yourself, tired, quiet, nearly invisible. But that is still you. That is still the moon. No less worthy, no less real. The sky doesn't love the full moon more than the new. It honours the whole cycle, and so should you. This is what the moon offers. Not perfection, but presence. Not power, but a rhythm. A gentle, persistent promise that no phase lasts forever. And in this, you can rest. You can stop fighting your tides. You can feel them, follow them, flow with them. There is something deeply human about standing under the moon. To look up is to look back, not just in time, but into yourself. The moon has watched every generation before you. It has lit the paths of travellers, guided the hands of poets, witnessed the cries of newborns and the prayers of the dying. And still it hangs there, patient, watching, listening. In your lifetime you will see the moon thousands of times, sometimes clearly, sometimes through clouds, sometimes reflected in puddles or windows. But always it will be there, a reminder that you are part of something ancient, something continuous, something soft and eternal. You are not alone in your stillness. The moon is still too. It does not race, it does not rise in panic, it waits, turns, shines, and that quiet presence is a lesson. You don't always have to shine the brightest. You don't always have to be full. You're allowed to rest, to dim, to return when ready. Even the oceans obey this truth. Even the earth bows slightly as the moon pulls. And if something so vast, so grounded can yield, so can you. There is no weakness in responding to gravity. There is wisdom. And one day when your life quiets and your breath slows, the moon will still be there. It will still pull the tides, still watch the world sleep, still whisper to the sea in you, telling your atoms, you have done well, you have moved with the sky, you've remembered your rhythm. Because that is what the moon does best. It remembers even when we forget. It remembers the water, the breath, the cycle, the body, the tide, the blood, and it calls to them gently without asking for anything in return. And you, part sea, part light, part silence, will answer. Even if no one sees, even if no one knows, you will answer, because the moon never stopped calling. Take a slow breath. In through your nose, out through your chest. Feel how the air moves, gently, quietly, slipping into your lungs without force. That breath may seem small, but it is part of something vast, something ancient. The atoms you just pulled in were born in stars, passed through trees, drifted across oceans, and fell from the sky. In every breath you take, you inhale the history of galaxies. Air is not empty. It is a memory, floating. A mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and countless invisible particles that once belonged to mountains, to forests, to other lives. You are not just breathing to stay alive. You're participating in the ongoing story of the universe. You're drawing in the remnants of distant stars and letting them become part of you. Every inhale is a quiet reunion, with atoms that have danced through the lungs of birds, through the leaves of ancient ferns, through the gills of fish in long-forgotten seas. The molecules now inside you once passed through volcanoes and glaciers, cities and deserts. Some may have even spun in the atmosphere of Jupiter or Saturn before being swept back into Earth's sky. They carry no flag, no border, no time, only motion, only memory. And you, here now, are the meeting point, the place where stars and sky and story come together. Consider oxygen, the element that makes life possible. It was not always here. For billions of years, Earth had no breath, no wind, no lungs to fill. Then cyanobacteria, tiny blue-green algae in the oceans, began releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. Slowly, over millions of years, the air became something we could use, something we could need. That oxygen you just inhaled? It was made by life, carved by sunlight. It holds the shape of photosynthesis, of green things stretching toward the sky. It is not just gas. It is the breath of Earth itself, shared freely with everything that lives. And in the quiet chambers of your lungs, that oxygen meets blood. It slips into red cells. It rides through arteries. It powers your thoughts, your muscles, your heartbeat. It becomes part of your voice, your dreams, your being, all because you inhaled, all because air chose to enter. But it doesn't stop there. When you exhale, you return carbon dioxide to the world. And plants, waiting in sunlit silence, receive it. They drink it in, use it, transform it, then release oxygen again. The cycle continues. Breath to leaf, leaf to breath. You and the trees, speaking without words. This exchange is not just biology, it is a conversation with the cosmos, because the carbon in that breath, forged in ancient stars. The hydrogen, born moments after the Big Bang. Every atom you move is older than the Earth, older than light, older than names. You are not just breathing in the present, you are breathing through time, and time, like air, cannot be held. It moves through you, touches you, leaves again. That's what breath teaches, how to let go, how to receive without grasping, how to trust the invisible. Your lungs, pink and soft, are shaped like the branches of a tree turned inward. Bronchi branching into bronchioles, ending in tiny alveoli, sacs where air becomes life. This is not a coincidence. Nature repeats what works. Trees and lungs, clouds and galaxies, rivers and veins, they all follow similar shapes, because they're all trying to move something. Light, water, breath, life. Even galaxies breathe. Not with lungs, but with motion. Clouds of steam collapse into stars. Stars burn, then die, then release their contents into space. That material becomes new gas, new stars, a cycle, a breath, a pulse. The Milky Way itself is alive with this rhythm. Stars being born, stars fading, stars becoming again. And you, breathing here on this small blue planet, are part of that same rhythm. You are not separate from the galaxy. You are the galaxy, remembering itself through breath. So the next time you breathe, don't rush. Let it be slow. Let it be full of wonder. Feel how the air enters without judgment, how it brings the sky inside you, how it connects you to everything that ever lived, everything that ever burned, everything that ever became. This breath right now carries atoms once inside a star, once inside rain, once inside the lungs of someone you will never meet. You share this invisible thread with every creature that breathes, and in that sharing you become part of something vast. Galaxies are not out there. They are in here, in every inhale, in every quiet exhale, in every pause between. Breathe again, and know you're not just alive, but you're the breath of the universe returned to itself. Let's stay here a while, inside this breath. Let it stretch, let it settle, let it carry you through the quiet rivers of your body. Every time you inhale, you are not just feeding your cells, you're holding a piece of the sky. You're carrying in tiny messengers of stars, pieces of planets, traces of the deep past. Air is not just what fills the space between things, it is the space, and it is never still. The wind outside your window once brushed the cliffs of ancient mountains. It once travelled across deserts lit by the first morning of time. It once circled the wings of birds now long gone. And yet, here it is, passing through you now. With each breath you inherit the motion of the cosmos. Even the stillest room is filled with the air that has come a long way. Through valleys and clouds, through forests and fire. It carries the scent of flowers, the salt of oceans, the dust of comets. It is not clean or pure or new, but it is alive, it is shared. The same air moves through the lungs of whales and wolves and sleeping children. It moves through you too. And inside your lungs that air finds a purpose. The alveoli, tiny sacs thinner than paper, greet the breath like an old friend. Here, gas becomes gift. Oxygen crosses into your blood. And in that moment your entire body lights up. Not with fire, but with permission, with power, with the ability to move, to think, to be. The blood carries the oxygen through a map only your body knows, to fingers, to feet, to the folds of your brain. There it fuels the electricity of your thoughts, the spark that lets you remember your name, that lets you wonder about stars, that lets you ask, what am I? Your breath turned into motion, air turned into memory, sky turned into song. The carbon dioxide you release is not waste, it is a gift. Plants need it. They wrap it in green and light and turn it into leaves, into fruit, into the oxygen you'll breathe tomorrow. You're not separate from the trees. You're not above the grass. You're in relationship with every growing thing, every living thing. Even now, in the quiet of your room, you're not alone. Millions of tiny particles move around you, waiting to be drawn in. Some you will keep, others you will return. This is not a system you control. It is a kindness you are part of. It works without your command, you only have to breathe. And yet, in that simple act, something profound happens. You balance the world. You take in what life gives. You give back what it needs. You become part of the pulse, the give and receive, the inhale and exhale of Earth itself. This exchange is not new. It is billions of years old. The first breath ever taken on this planet was not by a human. It was by something small, ancient, hidden, but in that breath the pattern was born. That pattern shaped the world, and it shaped you. Even your voice is made of breath. When you speak, you shape air into sound. You send it out, hoping it will reach another, hoping it will carry meaning. This is how galaxies speak, through light, through waves, through echoes. And this is how you speak too. Your voice is the breath of stars given shape by memory. Breath is trust. It comes and goes. It doesn't ask your permission. It doesn't wait for your attention. It simply continues, like time, like tide. When you sleep, it is still there. When you cry, it carries your tears. When you laugh, it lifts the sound. It is the background of everything. And yet it is everything. You may not notice the air you breathe, but it notices you. It fills your chest, then leaves. It returns, then leaves again. Always gentle, always present, always enough. And maybe that's the lesson. That you don't need to hold on to everything, that it's okay to let go, to trust that something will return, that even when it feels like nothing is moving, the breath is still flowing, life is still happening, galaxies are still forming, you're still connected. There is no end to the journey of a breath. It passes from star to space, to ocean to sky, to leaf to lung, and then back again. You're part of that journey now. Every breath you take writes a line in that story, so inhale slowly and exhale with care. The universe is listening. Through the breath, it remembers itself. Through you. Now let the breath soften. Let it become a quiet thread connecting your body to everything around you. You don't need to change it. You don't need to deepen it. Just notice it. It's always been there, moving in, moving out like a tide that never forgets the shore. This simple act, this rhythm of breathing is the final echo of creation. The galaxy still hums in your lungs, even now, even here. Each breath is a meeting point, a space where past and present collide. The atoms you take in tonight once moved through clouds of nebulae, through ancient forests, through the chests of dinosaurs and the sighs of lovers long gone. These atoms have no memory of faces, but they remember form. They remember purpose. They remember what it means to belong to a body, even if that body has changed 1,000 times across time. What you breathe today will not stay. Some of it will leave your body in minutes, carried away into the wind, into other lives, into the soft swirls of the atmosphere. And this too is part of the poetry. Nothing is lost, it simply changes hands. You are not the end of the story, you are a chapter. When we look at the stars, we think of distance, of light that took millions of years to arrive, but breath teaches something different. It teaches nearness, that even the farthest things are already here, inside you, passing through you, shaping your cells without asking permission. That even the galaxies are not far away, they are within reach, they are in the air. This is why stillness matters. In stillness, the truth of connection becomes clear. In stillness, you can feel that your lungs are not just vessels for survival, they are instruments of communion with the earth, with the past, with everything. And when you cry, that too is breath. It trembles, it breaks, it carries feeling into sound. When you sing, you stretch the breath, give it shape, offer it meaning. When you scream, when you whisper, when you simply breathe in silence, each is a way the cosmos moves through you. Breath is not the absence of noise, it is the root of expression. Even your final breath, one day far from now, will not be an end. It will be a release, a return. The molecules that made your life possible will float free again. They will rise into the air, join clouds, fall as rain, nourish soil, lift into the wings of birds. You will not vanish, you will transform. You always were stardust learning how to breathe, and you will be stardust once more. The body may be temporary, but the breath continues. It weaves life into the fabric of the planet. It carries your presence into everything you touch. This is your legacy, not in buildings or titles, but in air shared, in carbon exchanged, in moments of stillness passed between hearts. Somewhere a tree is growing because of a breath you let go. Somewhere a child is laughing, filling lungs with the same air that once passed through yours. Somewhere the galaxy takes note, not in silence but in gratitude. You never needed to leave Earth to touch the stars. You were touching them all along, with every inhale, with every sigh, with every gentle rise of your chest. So tonight, as the air settles around you, remember this. You are the breath of galaxies. You are the quiet of space, learning to speak. You are the sky, pulled into form, inhaling its own wonder. And when you sleep, the breath will still be there, soft, steady, starlit, carrying you gently through the dark. Time does not tick. It does not chime. It does not march forward in perfect steps. Time, in its true form, is soft. It is slow. It is something more like a murmur, a whisper moving through space, bending around stars, sinking into gravity wells, stretching through the fabric of everything. And yet here on Earth we wear it on our wrists. We divide it into hours and seconds and schedules. But the universe does not keep time the way we do. It breathes it. You were born into a world full of clocks, full of calendars. Time feels sharp, exact, pressing. But step outside the human rhythm for a moment, and you'll find that time is different in the stars. It doesn't hurry, it doesn't rush, it stretches, expands, loops. It bends where gravity tells it to. It dances to the rhythm of light and distance and mass. The Earth turns, and we call that a day. The moon circles us, and we call that a month. The Earth circles the sun, and we call that a year. But these are not inventions. They are agreements between matter and motion. Cosmic rhythms wrapped in human names. Long before we built clocks, we watched shadows move. We watched stars rise and fall. We watched the moon wax and wane. We knew even then that time was not something to be owned. It was something to listen to. And deep in your body you are still listening. Your cells move to a rhythm not measured by minutes but by cycles. Your heart beats in time with your breath. Your sleep follows light. Your hormones rise and fall with sun and moon. These patterns are not random. They are old. They are written in you like a second language, one you never had to learn because your body already speaks it. Even your age, counted in years, is a measure of the Earth's orbit. You do not just grow older. You grow in motion. With every birthday, you've travelled another 54 million miles around the sun. You've been spun, carried, held by gravity and guided by momentum. And in that journey you've changed, not because of time passing, but because of time lived. Cosmic time is not straight. It is curved. It is moulded by mass. Around black holes time slows. Light bends, seconds stretch. To an astronaut near a supermassive black hole, a minute could feel like an hour back on Earth. And yet both are real. Both are true. Time does not care for our sense of fairness. It flows where gravity shapes it. It bends around presence. Even now, as you read this, time moves differently at the top of your head than at your feet, just slightly because of Earth's gravity. You are taller than time in one direction, but you would never notice. And that's the beauty of it. Time does not need to be noticed to do its work. It is always moving, always whispering, always leaving gentle fingerprints on everything. Light, too, is part of this story, because light takes time to travel. When you look up at the stars, you're looking back in time. Some stars you see are not there anymore. Their light is still on its way, still making the journey across emptiness to meet your eyes. What you see is not the star now, but the star then. A ghost of brightness, a memory written in photons. And you, standing under that sky, become part of that exchange. Your eyes receive ancient light. Your mind translates it into wonder. Your body responds with silence or awe or stillness. You are not just an observer of time, you're a witness to it. There are places in the universe where time barely moves, where gravity is so strong light itself cannot escape. These are black holes, dense, quiet regions where time stretches almost to a stop. If you could hover near the edge, you would see the universe rushing forward while you remain still, and yet to you it would feel normal, peaceful, timeless. Maybe this is what time truly is, not something that slips away, but something we fall through slowly like snow, gently, softly, without pain. It touches everything but carries no weight. It changes everything but leaves no mark. Even aging is not the enemy. It is the record of your journey through time's breath. Each wrinkle, each grey hair, is a trace of sunlight, of laughter, of time spent near others. Your body is a journal, and time is the ink. So don't rush through your minutes, don't wish away your days, let them stretch, let them spill into each other. You are part of a much older story, one that began with a bang and continues with your breath. The universe is not in a hurry, and neither are you. You were never meant to race time, you were meant to feel it, to listen to its quiet murmur, and to move gently within it. Time is not a line, it is a tide. It flows forward, yes, but it also curls back, ripples, bends, and sometimes seems to stand still. The universe does not move in hours and minutes, it moves in rhythms, in cycles, in long, slow patterns that stretch across galaxies and lifetimes. And while we mark time with numbers, the cosmos tells time in stars. Look to the sky and you'll see clocks without hands, stars in different colours, different stages of life. Some are young and hot, blue-white with new energy. Others are older, cooler, glowing orange or red. A star's colour is its age, its brightness is its history, and when it dies, it does not vanish. It becomes something else, a white dwarf, a neutron star, a black hole. Time doesn't end, it transforms. The same is true for you. You are not a single moment. You are a constellation of moments, layered like rings in a tree, shaped by all the days you've lived. The child you were still lives inside you, not as memory alone, but as structure. Your bones grew around that beginning, your thoughts stretched out from that centre. You are made of your own history, and time, gentle as it is, never hurries you. It does not push, it does not pull, it simply moves with you like a shadow at dusk, changing shape but never leaving. You may try to measure it, to hold it, to control it, but time is not a possession, it is a companion. You might think of time as something passing. But what if it's something arriving? What if the future isn't a place you move toward, but a wave that moves toward you? Each moment comes to meet you full of possibility. You don't chase it. You greet it, you welcome it, and then it moves on. Even dreams are shaped by time. In your sleep, minutes stretch, seconds fold, you can live entire stories in a blink. Your brain is not bound by the clock, it floats, it wanders. It reshapes time like soft clay, and when you wake, you carry those dream echoes into your day, a reminder that time is not just measured, it is felt. And feeling time is different from counting it. A moment of joy can stretch like an afternoon. A painful second can feel like an hour. Time moves at the speed of the soul. It expands for love. It slows for grief. It waits for healing. You are not a machine ticking through a schedule. You're a living being moving through a field of time that grows and shrinks around your heart. The moon moves the tides, the seasons shift the earth, the sun rises and falls, but never in haste. So why do we hurry? Why do we race from hour to hour, as if slowness were something to escape? The stars are not in a rush to burn, the trees are not in a rush to grow. Everything that lasts, lasts because it takes its time. And so should you. Pause when you can. Feel the sunlight. Listen to the wind. Sit with someone and let the silence stretch. These are not wasted moments. They are the fabric of life. The moments that don't seem productive are often the ones that matter most, because in them, time is not something passing by, it is something present. Even your heartbeat knows this. It doesn't race all day. It speeds and slows. It responds to rest, to breath, to stillness. It reminds you that you are not made for constant motion. You are made for rhythm. And in that rhythm you find peace. The stars will continue their slow spiral dance. Galaxies will drift apart over billions of years. Light will stretch into red, then into silence. But that is not something to fear. It is the music of time playing out softly across the universe. And you, brief and beautiful, are a note in that music. Not a pause, not a mistake. A note. One that echoes longer than you know. Every act of kindness, every shared moment, every breath lived fully sends ripples forward in time. Long after your body rests, your time continues through others, through what you gave, through what you became. You are not just in time, you are made of time, woven from it, held by it. And even when the clocks stop ticking, even when the stars go quiet, your part of the song remains. In the gentle murmur of cosmic time, let the moment slow, let it widen like a pool of still water, untouched by the wind. Time at its quietest is not something you see, it's something you feel, in your breath, in your bones, in the gentle weight of your eyelids at the end of a long day. The world may keep turning, the clocks may keep ticking, but within you time can pause, not stop but soften. It can become something you rest inside rather than something you race against. There is an idea in physics that time might not be as linear as we think, that the past, present and future may all exist at once, like pages in a book already written, already waiting. You move through those pages one at a time, but the book itself remains whole, complete, still. What if every moment of your life is still alive somewhere? Your first breath, a childhood laugh, the soft hand of someone you once held, all still echoing quietly in the fabric of the universe. Your memories are not gone. They are woven into the pattern of who you are. You carry them like stars carry their light, some bright, some faint, some flickering just beneath the surface. They shape your path without forcing it. They colour your thoughts without trapping them. And in this way, time becomes a painter. Each experience a brushstroke, each heartbeat a shade. You are the canvas. You are the art. Even the moments you try to forget are still part of the shape. Pain carves space, loss opens room, and in that space something new always grows. Time does not erase, it transforms. It takes what is broken and turns it into landscape, into soil, into seed. You are older now than you have ever been, and yet you are still being made. Every cell in your body is listening to time's whisper, replacing, repairing, rebuilding, slowly, quietly. Your body is not fixed in place. It is a process, a becoming, just like the stars, just like galaxies. Even the atoms in your body have not always been part of you. They were once in clouds, in oceans, in the breath of strangers, and they will leave you too, not in loss but in continuation. You are not a container of time, you are a participant, a traveller, a brief arrangement of particles that will scatter again softly into the waiting arms of the universe. And when that happens, time will carry you forward, into trees, into rain, into the stardust of some future sky. You will not vanish. You will become, you always were part of the cycle. Perhaps that is the kindest truth of all, that nothing truly ends. It changes form, it stretches, it quiets, but it does not vanish. Like sound fading in a canyon, like ripples settling on a lake, like moonlight softening across a field, your presence will continue, not loud, not seen, but felt. So don't be afraid of time, it is not your enemy. It is your witness, your keeper, your companion. It holds your past with care. It brings your future like a gift. And right now in this breath it offers you presence, not as something to measure, but something to feel, something to move with, not against. You do not need to master time. You only need to meet it, to walk beside it, to trust that it knows where it's going, and that where it's taking you is exactly where you need to be. Let the seconds be soft. Let the hours unfold like petals. Let the years wrap around you like a blanket stitched from stars. You're not late. You're not early. You're right on time. Because time is not a race, it is a river. And you are the current flowing home. You are made of memories that go deeper than thought, deeper than anything you can name. Beneath your skin, inside your muscles, at the core of your bones, there is a record, a quiet story written in calcium and carbon, in the slow layering of time across matter. Your bones, solid and silent, carry the history of the earth. They remember where you came from even when you forget. Bones seem still unmoving, but they are not dead. They are alive, constantly renewed, reshaped by every step you take, every weight you carry, every breath you draw. They are not simply your frame, they are your foundation, and they were made long before you were born, from dust older than the planet beneath your feet. The calcium in your bones was forged in stars that died before the Earth existed. These elements wandered through space for millions of years before they fell into the dust cloud that would become our solar system. When the Earth formed, spinning hot and heavy from that cloud, your future skeleton was already on its way, hidden in rock, in sea, in life waiting to happen. You're walking on ancient matter, and you are built from it. Long before your bones knew what it meant to walk, they floated in oceans, travelled through fish, through mammals, through a line of life that crawled from water to land. Your skeleton carries that journey. Its shape reflects it. The curve of your spine, the tilt of your pelvis, the length of your fingers, all echoes of creatures who learned to stand, to hold, to create. And within those bones is marrow, dark, soft, pulsing with the making of blood. Every day, millions of red cells are born in that space. Your body builds life in the quiet hollows of your skeleton. These are not empty places. They are laboratories, sanctuaries, cradles of continuation. There's something comforting about that your body carries both history and hope, that your bones are not just what remains after life, but what sustains it while it lasts. They are silent workers. They do not ask to be noticed, but they notice everything. They adapt, they grow, they break and heal, they hold, and they remember. Archaeologists study bones not just for what they are, but for what they've endured. A fossil is not just a shape, it is a witness. It tells us what was eaten, what was biomed, what was survived. And your bones will carry your story too, not just your genetics, but your movement, your choices, your resilience. If someone held your femur 1,000 years from now, they could read the echoes of your life in its curve, its weight, its wear. But even now, your bones are telling a story. To you, about the way you live, the posture you keep, the steps you take. They respond to your habits, your emotions, your pauses. When you carry sorrow for too long, your shoulders round forward. When you hold fear, your spine stiffens. When you live freely, your body opens. Your bones shift. They shape themselves around your spirit. And that is perhaps the most beautiful truth, that your structure is not rigid. It listens, it reflects, it follows the shape of who you are becoming. You're not trapped inside your skeleton, you're in conversation with it. Even the minerals in your bones cycle in and out. What you eat becomes part of your frame. What you lack, your body pulls from the skeleton like a bank. It trusts the bones to give, to hold, to wait. And they do, quietly, constantly. When you fall, your bones remember how to repair. When you grow, they know when to stretch. When you stop, they rest. They do not need applause. They need only nourishment, stillness, trust. You are not just a spirit in a shell. You are a spirit that built a shell from stardust, from earth, from time, a shell that can dance and speak and reach and hold, a shell that feels the weight of gravity and still stands tall. That is no small miracle. That is the work of ages, alive in you now. So when you feel tired, when your body aches, remember, your bones have carried you through every hour of your life, every joy, every heartbreak, every ordinary moment. They have been your companions in silence, your secret strength. They have never once left you behind, and they never will. Let's wander deeper into the quiet landscape within you, deeper than muscle, deeper than blood, into the architecture of memory itself. Your bones are not just a scaffold for movement. They are a map of everything you've survived. They mark the shape of your journey, like trees mark the seasons, the grooves, the weight, the wear. All of it tells the story of your becoming. Bones are strong but not hard in the way we often think. They are porous, alive, always listening to the forces around them. When you walk, they feel it. When you rest, they respond. If you lift, they grow dense. If you float through stillness, they grow light. Every choice you make, your skeleton adjusts. It changes shape, not quickly, not loudly, but slowly, faithfully, like stone reshaped by rain. This is what science calls Wolff's Law, that bone grows in response to the stress placed upon it. But isn't that also the law of life? That you are reshaped by what you carry, by love, by pain, by work, by silence. Your bones bend toward what you need. They thicken where you need strength. They lighten where you need freedom. They are your body's quiet engineers, adapting with patience, never asking for credit. And inside those bones, in the marrow, something even more profound unfolds. Here, deep in the core of your being, your body creates life every day. Red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, all born in the shadows of your skeleton. This is where immunity begins, where healing begins, where the body whispers, you are still alive and still becoming. Most people never think about their bones until they break, but even that is part of the wisdom, because bones know how to repair themselves. Slowly, steadily. They gather the resources they need, close the fracture, restore the shape. The pain is real, but so is the resilience. That is part of your inheritance, not just to break, but to mend, to remake yourself from the inside out. Your bones are also the last part of you to leave. Long after skin dissolves and memories fade, your skeleton remains. Silent, still, waiting beneath the surface. That is not something to fear. It is something to honor, because it reminds us that we are part of the earth, not just in life, but in return. Dust to dust is not a loss. It is a reunion. Think of the fossils buried in stone, the ancient bones of creatures that lived before thought, before language. We read them like books. We hold them in our hands and say, this is where we come from. And one day, perhaps someone will hold part of you and say the same, that you were here, that you mattered, that you walk through the world with weight and grace. There is a comfort in knowing that even when you feel fragile, you are built of something that remembers how to be strong. You're not brittle glass. You are living stone, flexible, aware, enduring. You're not a cage. You're a cathedral, a framework designed not to imprison the soul, but to lift it upward, toward movement, toward meaning. And what of the skull, the house of thought? It protects the brain, yes, but more than that, it gives shape to your expression. Your voice, your smile, the tilt of your brow, these are gifts of bone. And when you speak, when you laugh, when you cry, your bones carry those sounds out into the world. The vibrations travel through them, echo in them, become part of the air. You are sound and structure, echo and earth, and your bones, though they do not speak, are always telling your story. Every step, every stretch, every silence they remember, not in language, but in form. They hold the record of your time here, and they will continue to hold it even after memory fades. So treat them kindly, feed them well, rest them, strengthen them, listen to them, because they are not just yours, they are part of a larger pattern. A lineage of skeletons reaching back through time, all the way to the first fish who learned to swim against the tide, all the way to the stars who gave us calcium in the first place. You are part of that legacy, a moving memory, a breathing fossil still in the making, and every time you rise from the ground, every time you lift your face to the sky, your bones remember where they came from, and they carry you forward. Now rest for a moment in the stillness of your own frame. Let the world quiet around you. Let your thoughts slow. Beneath all the noise of your mind and movement, your bones remain, steady, silent, enduring. They are the deepest part of you, the place where time settles. They do not cry out, but they listen. They do not forget. You may never see your own skeleton, but you feel it every day. In the lift of your spine, in the bend of your knees, in the quiet support beneath your sleep. It is there, always, holding you in ways so constant that they vanish into the background. but that doesn't make them less real. In fact, it makes them sacred. Every time you stand up, your bones perform a kind of miracle, balancing strength and softness, density and design. They do not ask if you are ready. They simply rise with you. They have done this since you were a child, when they grew without permission, stretching toward the sky, shaped by play and pressure and time. They did not know what you would become, but they made space for it anyway. Even now they make space. For grief, for growth, for joy, for change. When life bends you, your bones bend too. Not just in form, but in spirit. They are not cold, they are not fixed, they are faithful. In the way they carry you, hold you, catch you when you fall, and when you break they wait. They begin again, and though we rarely think of them this way, your bones are storytellers, not in words but in structure. They carry echoes of your ancestors. Your skull holds the curve of someone who lived long before you, whose face you'll never know, but whose bones shaped your own. You are a blend of many lives, a chorus of histories humming in your hips, your hands, your ribs. You are never alone in your body. Your bones remember things you don't. The feel of sun on stone, the rhythm of walking on earth with bare feet, the ancient fear of falling, the joy of jumping, the quiet of sleep curled beneath shelter. You carry the movements of the past in your joints, in the way your elbows fold, in the way your head turns to follow the wind. These are not learned, they are inherited, they are echoes, and one day, long from now, your bones will return to the earth. They will become part of the soil, the dust, the rock. The calcium that once held your structure will hold something else, a root, a stone, a new form waiting to emerge. This is not the end, it is a return. You are not lost to time, you are folded back into it. And maybe, just maybe, some of your atoms will rise again, into a leaf, into a wave, into another skeleton yet to be formed. That's how the universe works. Nothing is wasted. Everything is shared, even bones. So honor them. Not because they are fragile, but because they are faithful. They have carried you through every sunrise, every mistake, every beginning. They are your anchor in gravity, your bridge to the stars. They are proof that you belong to this earth and that you are shaped by forces much older than fear. Next time you sit in silence, place your hand over your chest. Feel your ribs rise with breath. Feel the weight of your own being, not heavy, not burdensome, just real, just here. You're not floating through life without grounding. You're rooted in bone. You're real and remembered and whole. And as you sleep, your bones do not sleep. They hold you gently in a place. They wait for the morning. They wait to carry you again. Not because they must, but because they were made to. By time, by stars, by the long, patient shaping of life itself. And they will carry you always, until the day you return to where you came from. The dust that dreamed of standing. There is a rhythm in the universe that never stops playing. It is older than words, older than planets, older than light. You cannot hear it with your ears, but you feel it, like a distant hum, a quiet echo, a deep knowing. It is the music of motion, the song between atoms and planets, a harmony written in gravity, vibration and time. Start small. Inside your body every atom vibrates. They are not still. They tremble, they spin, they shift in tiny measured ways. This is not chaos, it is choreography. The electrons orbit the nucleus with energy and pattern. Molecules stretch and fold like dancers in slow motion. Even at rest, your body is humming with movement, with music. Zoom out a little. Your cells communicate through pulses and rhythms, electrical signals crossing gaps, tiny currents carried like notes on a breeze. Your heart beats in time. Your breath follows a rhythm. Even your sleep arrives in cycles, like tides pulled by unseen moons. You're not just a body, you are a composition. Every sound you hear is vibration, air molecules pushed and pulled, moving in waves. When a bird sings, when a drum beats, when you speak softly to someone you love, you're arranging molecules into music. These vibrations enter ears, become signals, become feelings. Sound is not a thing, it is a relationship. Between motion and space, between energy and ear. But the music does not stop at your body. Atoms vibrate, but so do stars. Planets spin. Moons orbit. The galaxy itself rotates. And all of it, every movement is a note in the larger song. The gravitational pull between bodies creates tension and release, just like melody and silence. Jupiter tugs on its moons with invisible strings. The moon tugs on Earth's tides. Earth tugs back. This is the music, the cosmic lullaby. Scientists once believed that space was silent, but now we know it is full of vibration. Not in sound waves, because sound needs air, but in frequency, in movement, in pulses of radio waves, in electromagnetic whispers, in the faint hum of background radiation still echoing from the birth of time. NASA has turned these frequencies into sound, solar winds, plasma waves, even the chorus of Earth's magnetosphere. And when you listen, what you hear is not static. It is song. Strange and otherworldly, but music nonetheless. A voice from deep time still vibrating through space. Even your voice right now is part of this. The vibration of your vocal cords joins the orchestra. Your words become waves. They travel farther than you know. They ripple through air, through walls, into other people. And even when they fade, their echo continues. In memory, in emotion, in change. Now imagine this. When you speak kindly to someone, your voice is not just sound. It is a gift of energy, a carefully tuned frequency that enters their body and shifts something inside them. Words can soothe, words can shake, words can sing, and all of it is vibrations, all of it is music. The ancient Greeks believed in a concept called the music of the spheres, the idea that the planets and stars moved in harmony, each creating a celestial note. They believed this music shaped the soul, and while science no longer sees the planets as literal instruments, the metaphor still feels true. There is harmony in the heavens. There is rhythm in rotation. Your body responds to that rhythm. Circadian rhythms align with the sun. Mood lifts with spring, silence deepens with winter. Music itself mirrors these patterns. Repetition, contrast, crescendo, release. Why do we cry at certain songs? Why do certain chords feel like memories? Perhaps because we are made of the same stuff as stars, moving in the same rhythms, longing for the same return to order. Even mathematics, so logical, so structured, is often described as the music of reason. Patterns repeating, building, resolving. You do not have to be a musician to make music. You already are. You live it every day. Every footstep, every blink, every heartbeat is a drumbeat. Every breath is a soft wind instrument. Every thought, a string plucked quietly in your mind. You are not the audience of this cosmic symphony. You are part of the orchestra, and still we forget. In the rush of days, in the noise of living, we forget the music. We forget to listen. But it's always there, in the rustling of leaves, in the shifting of tides, in the breath between words. You don't need headphones to hear it. You don't need a stage. Just be still and notice. There's a song playing through your bones, and the universe is singing with you. Listen closely now, not with your ears, but with your being. There is a rhythm to everything, even silence. Beneath the stillness, something is always moving, always pulsing, always becoming. The atoms in your fingertips tremble. The stars in the sky shift. Nothing is truly still. Everything vibrates. Everything plays a part in the music that holds the universe together. Even your thoughts have rhythm. Electrical pulses travel through your brain in waves. Some fast and sharp like a drum roll, others slow and deep like a cello. These brainwaves change with your mood, your sleep, your focus. Alpha, beta, theta, delta, they each have their own tempo. You are not just thinking, you are humming with light. You are composing something every moment with your mind. This is why music moves us, not just emotionally, but physically. A sad song slows your heartbeat. A joyful tune lifts your shoulders. A deep drum beat brings you back to your chest. Your nervous system listens to music as if it were language. But perhaps it's more than language. Perhaps music is the original voice, older than speech, older than names. Maybe the first thing the universe ever did was sing, and maybe it still is. The orbits of planets are not random. They follow paths carved by gravity, loops and spirals like the grooves of a record spinning in space. The more massive the planet, the deeper the groove. The more distant, the longer the tone. You could, if you wished, turn their movement into melody. Some have. Astronomers have taken the frequency of planetary orbits and translated them into music. The result is haunting, familiar, like hearing the deep breath of something much larger than yourself. Even DNA, the blueprint of life, holds rhythm. Its spiral is a dance, its coding follows patterns. Some scientists have turned the sequences of DNA into music too, and it sounds beautiful, as if the body is singing its own origin story, because it is. Inside the center of every cell is a song, a vibration passed from generation to generation. When your mother carried you, her body hummed with you, and when she was still forming inside her mother, you were already there, your eggs waiting in her tiny forming ovaries. A 3-generation echo, a melody passed through some time. This is not poetic exaggeration. This is biology. This is science's lullaby. Even the earth itself sings. Deep within the planet, seismic waves ripple through rock and core, bouncing, bending, circling. Scientists have captured these vibrations, sped them up, and turned them into sound. The earth hums even when there are no earthquakes. A slow, low, droning note. A heartbeat. A hymn. And we, walking upon this living drum, add our own percussion. Our footsteps, our voices, our breath. We are not separate from the sound, we are contributors, participants, co-creators. Birds sing to mark territory, yes, but they also sing for joy. Whales call to each other across oceans not just to locate, but to connect. Trees may not sing as we know it, but they creak, they whisper in wind. Their roots send chemical signals in quiet patterns beneath soil. There is music beneath our feet. There is music in the sky. When you stand near someone and your hearts begin to beat in sync, that too is music. When a group sings together, their breathing aligns. Their energy synchronizes. Even their brainwaves begin to match. This is not coincidence. This is resonance. This is the deep science of harmony. When things move together, they become stronger. They amplify, they heal. This is why lullabies soothe. Why chanting calms. Why silence between notes can move us more than sound. We are creatures tuned to vibration, to tone, to touch. And even without instruments, we carry music in us. You don't need a piano to play. Your laughter is a song, your sigh is a note. Your presence, when you walk into a room with calm or joy, changes the frequency. Others feel it. They respond, not with thought, but with resonance, with the deep animal knowing that says, this feels good, this feels like balance. And that's what music truly is. Balance, not perfection, not precision, but relationship. Tension and release, dissonance and resolution, question and answer. This is how the planets move. This is how your cells divide. This is how the day becomes night and the tide becomes calm. You are living in music, swimming in it, made from it. Every heartbeat a drum, every thought a melody, every silence a space for something sacred to rise. And you don't have to do anything to earn it. Just listen, just be. The music was always here, and it plays through you now. Now imagine for a moment that you are not a person, but a note. One soft tone among billions. You vibrate with meaning, shaped by time, by motion, by intention, and like any note in a symphony, you do not exist in isolation. You're surrounded by other notes, some close, some far, some high, some low. Together, all of you form the great composition of being. This is not metaphor. This is the quiet truth of existence. Everything is in vibration. And where there is vibration, there is music. Think about the people you've known. Some made you feel calm, like soft harmonies beneath your melody. Some brought dissonance, tension that made your chest tighten. But even that tension was part of the music. It shaped your story. It gave weight to the moments when peace returned. Just as a song needs contrast, your life needs difference. The silence that follows sadness. The quiet that comes after chaos. These pauses are not emptiness. They are sacred space. They are the breath between notes. There are sounds that live forever, not in volume but in impact. A whisper that changed your heart. A song that carried you through sorrow. The memory of laughter echoing in an empty room. These become part of you, not stored in your ears but in your bones, in your breath, in the soft pulse beneath your skin. Even time has a sound. You hear it in footsteps, in ticking clocks, in the way seasons change. But time too can be felt as rhythm, as cycles, as waves, morning into night, youth into age, arrival into departure. You cannot hold time, but you can move with it, like dancers move with music, trusting the next step will come, trusting that even when the rhythm changes, the song continues. Some believe the universe began with a single explosion, a burst of energy that set everything into motion, the Big Bang. But that explosion wasn't just heat, it was vibration, the first sound, the first note of the cosmic song. And though we cannot hear it now, its echo still moves through space, in the background radiation that surrounds us. That hum is everywhere, in the silence, in the stars, inside you. When you close your eyes, you might not hear a melody, but you might feel it. The rhythm of your heart, the flow of your breath, the pull of gravity, the softness of stillness. These are not quiet. They are music beneath awareness. They are the deep sound of being alive. And when you touch someone, a friend, a child, a stranger, you share that rhythm. A hand on a shoulder, a head resting on another's chest. You feel their pulse, they feel yours. For a moment, two songs blend. This is intimacy. This is resonance. Not words, but shared vibration. There's a reason we call it harmony when people understand each other. Because we know deep down that peace is found when our vibrations align. When we are not fighting the music but flowing with it. You've felt this, walking beside someone in perfect silence yet feeling known. That is music. You've known this, sitting with someone in grief saying nothing yet sharing the weight. That too is music. Even when you are alone, you are part of the whole. You hum with the same frequency as the trees outside your window, as the ocean pulling against the shore, as the wind shifting across the sky. You're not separate. You're not other. You're in tune, whether you know it or not. So let your voice be part of the song. Speak gently, speak truth. Let your words carry weight, not noise. Let your laughter lift others. Let your silence create space. Every moment is an instrument, waiting for you to play it with care. And when the day ends and you lie in stillness, listen closely. You will hear it, not with your ears, but with your whole self. The quiet music of life continuing, the sound of stars spinning, the rhythm of your breath joining the rhythm of the world. This is the music between atoms and planets, and you are the melody that makes it matter. There is a beam of light touching your skin that was born before your ancestors. It left a distant star, maybe 1 billion years ago, long before Earth had trees or oceans, before language or memory. That single thread of light crossed emptiness, dodged debris, slipped past gravity wells, and finally today arrived at you. Not with a crash, not with a shout, but with a soft kiss you may not even notice, a warmth on your cheek, a glow in the corner of your eye, light at last coming home. We rarely stop to think about the journey of light. We flip a switch and rooms glow. We open our eyes and colour appears. But behind each photon is a story, a path traced across time and space. Light does not stand still. It races, always forward, never back. It is the fastest thing in the universe, and yet it never rushes. It simply moves, steady, constant, certain. When you see a star in the night sky, you're not seeing it as it is, you're seeing it as it was. Some of those stars may already be gone, burned out, collapsed, returned to dust, but their light, faithful and enduring, is still on its way. It keeps travelling, and when it finally meets your eyes, it delivers a message written long ago, a message only you can read. Your eyes are not just organs, they are receivers of ancient stories. They gather photons that have crossed millions of miles just to show you what once was. Light is not just what lets you see, it is what lets you remember. Even the sun, so close by cosmic standards, is not truly present. The light you see now left it 8 minutes ago. You're always looking into the past. But somehow that past shapes your present. It grows your food, warms your skin, powers your breath. The light you bask in today is already memory, and already life. Inside your body, light continues its work. It enters your eyes, signals your brain, sets your rhythms. It triggers the pineal gland to stop making melatonin. It tells your body, wake up, the world is here. It reminds your cells of time. Daylight is not just brightness, it is alignment. And when sunlight touches your skin, something more happens. Your body begins to make vitamin D, an ancient chemical that fuels your immune system, your bones, your energy. This isn't magic, it's biology tuned to the stars. You were built to respond to light, you were made to welcome it. But light doesn't only come from stars. It comes from fire, from glowworms, from the moon, borrowing the sun's glow. It comes from screens, from street lamps, from the sparkle in someone's eyes. All of it is motion. All of it is memory and flight. And light is always moving forward. That is its law. It cannot turn around. It cannot undo its journey. Once released, it is committed. And in that movement there is a lesson. About presence, about release, about how to continue even when the path is long. Even colour is a language of light. What you see as red or blue or green is simply light vibrating at different speeds. Your brain translates these vibrations into sensation. You're not seeing objects, you are seeing light reflected off them. Everything you know is shaped by what light has chosen to show. But there is more. Light bends. It curves around massive objects like stars and black holes. This is called gravitational lensing, and it means that sometimes when you look at a distant galaxy, you are not seeing it directly, but rather the way its light was curved, focused, stretched through the gravity of space. You are looking at a bending of truth, a warped but beautiful echo. And even so the message gets through. Even bent, even slowed, even scattered, light arrives. Just like you too have travelled through pressure, through darkness, through gravity and distortion. You too have carried your story through space and time, and even if your journey has not been straight, even if it's taken longer than expected, you have still arrived. You are still glowing, you are still here. You don't need to be bright to matter. Even faint stars send light. Even the smallest glimmer can guide someone through the dark. Even a flicker carries warmth. And maybe that's what matters most. Not how fast you move or how far, but that you keep going. That you choose to travel toward others. That you share your light, however small, with those who need it. Because someone, somewhere, may one day feel your light, just as you now feel the light that started its journey long before you were born. And they will be changed by it. Softly, quietly and completely. Let us follow the path of that light a little further. Not just where it's going, but what it does as it travels. Light is not simply brightness. It's energy. It's information. It's a carrier of memory. When it leaves a star, it brings with it the fingerprint of that star's temperature, its age, its movement, even its composition. Scientists can look at starlight and read it like a letter. Lines and colours in the spectrum reveal the story of a distant sun. You too carry light in your own way. The warmth in your smile, the spark in your thoughts, the glow in your presence. These are subtle forms of energy, of influence, of light turned inward. And when you interact with others, when you sit beside someone in silence or speak a kind word or simply show up, you send that energy out into the world. You shine. You don't always notice it, but others do. Just like starlight, your impact is often felt long after you've moved on. Some of the light from the early universe is still travelling. The universe is expanding, stretching the wavelengths of ancient light into longer, cooler, redder forms. This is the cosmic background radiation, the afterglow of creation. And it is everywhere. Every room, every breath, every inch of space holds a piece of that original shine. You are wrapped in it right now. You are living inside the echo of the beginning. Your own body, too, gives off light. Not enough to be seen by the naked eye, but it's there. Biophotons emitted by your cells, tiny pulses of light that might help with communication inside the body. Your skin, your organs, your brain, all glow faintly. You are in the most literal way a being of light. Even when you sit in darkness, your body remembers the sun. Your pupils dilate, your skin cools, your energy shifts. But your cells still carry the memory of brightness. And when the morning comes again, your body opens to it, eager. It is not just your eyes that see, your whole being responds. Think about how much of life revolves around light. Plants grow toward it. Animals migrate by it. Time itself is tracked through the movement of the sun. Even your emotions follow the light. In deep winter, your mood may dim. In long summer days, your heart may lift. Light doesn't just shape your vision, it shapes your feeling. And when you look into another person's eyes, you see reflected light. The colour, the shine, the flicker of emotion. That is light, dancing between souls. No wonder we speak of people having a light in their eyes. No wonder we talk about someone's inner glow. These are not metaphors alone. These are descriptions of something real, something yet, something seen. Artists have always chased light. In painting, in photography, in poetry, to capture a single moment where brightness and shadow meet, where the ordinary becomes luminous. But you don't need canvas or camera. You live in those moments every day. The way light falls on your hands as you sip your tea, the way it curls through curtains in the afternoon, the way it turns dust in the air into a constellation. These are not small things, these are invitations to notice, to slow, to let the light remind you that even in the quiet, beauty is moving. Light also teaches us about limits, about the edges of what we can know. There are parts of the universe whose light has not yet reached us, distant galaxies whose stories are still on their way. Just like people in your life, you don't always know their full story. You don't know where they came from, what they've travelled through. You only see the light that has arrived so far. Be gentle, more may be coming. And remember, not all light is visible. Ultraviolet, infrared, gamma, X-ray. Some of the most powerful forms of light are beyond our sight. The same is true in life. The most meaningful gestures are often unseen. The quiet strength, the unspoken support, the love held in a glance or a pause or a steady presence. Invisible but real, powerful. You are touched by light you cannot see and you give off light you do not know. And still, the universe moves, lit by a billion tiny stories crossing space. You are one of them, travelling, shining, becoming. And just as you are touched by a light that left a star a billion years ago, so too will your light, your presence, your words, your love, travel forward. It will ripple through others, echo in memory, and continue long after you are gone. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to be bright. You only need to keep shining, as you were always meant to. Now, let the light settle. Let it rest on your shoulders like a quiet memory. Let it slip through the spaces between your fingers, warming your skin in a way that doesn't call attention to itself. You don't need to chase it. It has already found you. You are not outside the light. You are not beneath it. You are within it. Always have been. Light surrounds you not like a spotlight, but like air. Constant, gentle, offering presence instead of performance. There is something sacred about the idea that light travels so far for so long just to reach you, to touch you for a fraction of a second before continuing on its way. It asks nothing of you. It doesn't seek praise, it simply arrives, illuminates and moves forward. There is grace in that, and perhaps there is something to learn in it too. Like light, you can move through the world gently. You don't need to explain yourself, you don't need to be loud, you can just be present. You can show up, offer warmth, bring clarity, and then let go. Some people may not even notice what you gave, but that doesn't make your presence any less meaningful. Light does not shine only where it is applauded. It shines because that's what it does. In the still moments, early morning, late evening, when the sun is low, you see what light really is. Not just brightness, but angle. Not just presence, but a texture. It stretches shadows long across the floor. It spills gold through windows. It turns the world from sharp to soft. These are the moments when you feel time slow, when you sense the earth breathing with you, when light becomes less about vision and more about feeling. And what of darkness? It is not the enemy of light. It is its partner. It is what gives light its meaning. Without shadow there is no shape. Without contrast, no depth. Light and dark do not fight, they complete each other. Your life too holds both. Moments of clarity and moments of uncertainty. Joy and sorrow, beginning and ending. You are not meant to live in constant brightness. You are meant to ebb and glow, to flicker and rise. Sometimes your light may feel small, dim, hidden, but it is still light. Even the faintest star still shines across unimaginable distance. Even the glow of a candle can guide someone lost. Your presence matters, even if you cannot see its reach. You may never know whose path you've brightened, but the light you send is real, and it goes farther than you think. There's something else about light. When it passes through a prism, it reveals its full spectrum. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, all hidden within what seemed like plain white. You too carry a hidden spectrum, a full range of colour and feeling and truth. The world may only see one part of you at a time, but inside there is more, so much more, and when you meet the right conditions, when you're held with gentleness, when the angle is just right, You shine in ways no one expected. You're not broken when your light scatters. You're not weak when you reflect. These are properties of brilliance. Light bends, it reflects, it refracts, and it still moves forward, and so will you. As you go about your days, remember this. Every moment, light is arriving. Through windows, through leaves, across water, across time. It does not need to be grand to be beautiful. A single ray can change the colour of a room. A single kindness can shift the direction of a day. You are made of that kind of light. Quiet, true, transformative. So walk gently. Let your light fall where it may. Let it pass through others. Let it warm them. Let it go. You don't need to hold it. You are it. Light that left a distant star 1 billion years ago travelled across galaxies not to change the world, but simply to remind you that you are part of something vast, that you are not forgotten, that even in the stillness, even in the dark, you are always meant to glow. There is a breath beneath your feet, steady and slow. You cannot hear it, but you are part of it. The earth breathes, not with lungs or windpipes, but with tides and roots, with shifting crust and drifting clouds. Beneath cities and mountains, forests and oceans, the planet inhales and exhales in rhythms too vast to measure by clocks. You stand on moving breath. You walk through the lungs of a living world, and with every inhale you take, the earth moves through you. The air that enters your lungs today might have circled the globe before it found you. It may have passed over ancient forests, touched the surface of seas, flowed through the open mouths of whales. It may carry the scent of rain from 1,000 miles away, or the trace of pollen from flowers long gone. Every breath you draw is a meeting place between past and present, between the world and your body, between you and everything that lives. We forget this sometimes. We live in rooms with sealed windows. We breathe conditioned air. We forget the feel of wind on skin. But breath never forgets. It still follows the shape of your ribs. It still settles in the base of your lungs. It still connects you to the tide, to the leaf, to the cloud. Breath is not just an exchange of oxygen and carbon. It is a communion. A quiet, sacred ritual you perform more than 20,000 times a day. Without words, without effort, without needing to understand. The planet has always breathed. Before us, without us. The ocean swells and falls. The forests pull carbon and release life. Ice melts and reforms. Lava rises and sinks. These movements are not random. They are the rhythm of a body in motion. The crust beneath your feet shifts a little more each year. Rivers carve new paths. Soil rearranges. Nothing is still, not truly, and you, shaped by this movement, are not still either. Inside your body, breath guides everything. Your brain adjusts to its pace. Your heart responds to its depth. Your thoughts rise and fall with its steadiness. When you're afraid, your breath shortens. When you feel calm, it lengthens. Breath is the first language you ever spoke. Before you made sound, before you opened your eyes, you breathed. That first inhale was your entrance into the shared breath of earth, and someday your last exhale will return you to it. Even your bones remember the breath of the earth. They carry calcium that once flowed through oceans, now solid within you. The minerals in your teeth are the dust of mountains. The salt in your blood mirrors the sea. Your body is not just on earth, it is of earth. Formed from it, shaped by it, and returned to it piece by piece every day. You are not borrowing breath, you are continuing it. Look at the trees, how they stretch upward, lifting their green hands to the sun. They breathe in what you breathe out, and when they exhale, they give you life in return. This exchange is not metaphor, it is biology. It is the oldest friendship on the planet. You are alive because of 1,000 quiet conversations between leaf and lung. Each time you walk past a forest or lie beneath a tree, the breath moves differently. Slower, fuller. Your body knows even if your mind forgets. The earth also breathes through water. Watch a tide come in and go out. Watch the way waves rise and pull back again and again, each motion shaped by the moon above. This is planetary breath, pulled by gravity, released with grace. Even lakes and rivers respond. Rain falls, water flows, the planet exhales. Then clouds gather, and the inhale begins again. This water cycle is not just movement, it is breath made visible. Even beneath the ground, breath moves. Roots stretch into darkness. Fungi carry messages from one tree to another, miles apart. Underground, there is a living network as vast as a forest. It breathes not with air, but with exchange, nutrients, signals, life passed back and forth in silence. The earth does not breathe like we do, but it breathes nonetheless. When you walk on soft earth, when you press your hand to stone, when you hear wind in the trees, you are feeling the breath. Not yours alone, but ours, shared, global, ancient. The earth does not need your attention to continue breathing. But when you give it, something shifts. You begin to hear more. You begin to slow. You begin to sink. Breath is rhythm. Rhythm is life. All around you the earth moves in slow, deep time. It turns toward the sun, then away. Seasons stretch and fold. Day becomes night, becomes day again. These are not just rotations. They are pulses. They are breaths. And you, with your own inhale and exhale, are part of that song. The earth's breath has held creatures long before you. Dinosaurs breathed this air. So did wolves and whales, monarch butterflies and tiny silver fish. The molecules are recycled, reborn. The air in your lungs today has been in many lungs before. It has sung many songs, cried many tears, whispered many names. So next time you close your eyes and take a deep breath, know this. You are not alone. You are not isolated. You are not separate. You are participating in a rhythm as old as time. You are part of the earth's gentle exhale, blah. And when you breathe out, the earth inhales again. Not apart from you, but through you. Let us drift now into the deeper currents of earth's breath, the ones that move beneath the surface through stone and silence. Beneath your feet lies a vast world of motion. Layers of rock fold over each other like blankets of time. Rivers of magma pulse slowly through the mantle, reshaping land not in hours, but in eras. It is not a breath you can hear, but it is a breath nonetheless. A steady inhale of pressure, a slow exhale of release. Volcanoes, earthquakes, the slow drift of continents. These are not disruptions. They are the quiet rhythm of a planet still becoming. And inside this great exhale you are held. You are carried. You walk on a living crust, thin and fragile, but anchored by a deep memory. The earth remembers how to rebuild, how to start again. After every eruption, soil becomes richer. After every fire, forests return. After every storm, the air clears. The earth is not static, it is resilient. And so are you. Your body too responds to more than what's visible. The pressure of the atmosphere changes how your joints feel. The phase of the moon can stir your sleep. The tilt of the planet shifts your moods with the seasons. These changes aren't in your imagination. They are echoes of connection. You are not a machine placed on Earth. You're an extension of it, a strand in its web of being. Even the bacteria in your body, trillions of tiny lives working together, mirror ecosystems in soil and water. What lives in your gut once lived in rivers. What lives on your skin was shaped by wind and weather. You are not separate from nature. You are nature, arranged in a different shape. Walk into a forest and you'll feel it. The pulse, the breath, not loud but steady. The way the canopy filters light like lungs filtering air. The way moss covers stone like skin over bone. The way everything grows in rhythm with everything else. You may feel calmer there, not by accident but by design. The earth's breath slows your own. And water, perhaps Earth's most eloquent breath, teaches us everything about rhythm. Rain falls, rivers run, tides rise and fall. The ocean breathes twice a day, pulled by the moon, returning again and again to the same shore. The water in your veins once moved through clouds and glaciers, through ancient wells and wandering streams. Each drop a traveller, each breath you take a reunion. When you cry, you return water to the earth. When you sweat, you give back salt. When you drink, you receive its gifts again. There is no separation here, only exchange, only cycle, only breath finding new form. The winds too carry memory. The air you breathe today may have circled the globe, gathering scents, pollen, stories. Air moves from deserts to rainforests, from mountaintops to valleys, shaping weather and whispering to trees. Trees respond with chemicals, with signals, with growth. The entire planet is listening, and you, when you inhale, are listening too. Your lungs were shaped by this planet. Their branching pattern, like coral, like roots, like rivers, was chosen by time to mirror the most efficient ways of flow, of intake, of life. Inside those lungs, each breath reaches alveoli, tiny sacs surrounded by blood exchanging gases, one molecule at a time. Oxygen enters, carbon dioxide leaves. This is breath, but it's also balance. The earth taught your body how to do this. Slowly, wisely. And breath is not just about survival, it is about rhythm. Every time you inhale, you prepare to speak, to sing, to sigh. Every time you exhale, you let go of tension, of thought, of past. This cycle is your first language. Before you learned to speak, you breathed. Before you opened your eyes, you breathed. Before your first cry, there was the inhale, and after your last word, there will be the exhale, the final gift to the earth that made you. Even your stardust is filled with breath. When you listen to another person, truly listen, your breath slows. You make space, your body opens. The earth does the same. When the wind calms, when the land rests between seasons, it is not empty. It is waiting, holding, listening. You are more connected than you realize. When someone sits beside you and breathes in sync, something ancient awakens. Your bodies align, your hearts soften. You feel not just their presence, but their aliveness. This is not coincidence. This is nature remembering itself through you. The earth breathes not just through oceans and forests and storms, but through stillness, through dusk, through quiet fields, through snow melting in spring. These are not empty spaces. They are pauses in the song. They are the rests between the notes that make the melody real. And when you're overwhelmed, when the world feels loud and fast, step outside, feel the wind on your face, press your feet into the ground, close your eyes, let the earth's breath find yours again. Let it remind you there is no rush, there is only rhythm, and you are part of it. You were never meant to hold your breath through life. You were meant to breathe with the earth, one gentle inhale at a time. Now let yourself rest in the breath, not just your own, but the earth's, the quiet rise of hills, the slow shift of tide, the hush that settles over a forest at dusk. You have felt it before, even if you didn't know what it was. That soft stillness, that moment where everything seems to pause, that's the earth exhaling. That's you finding your place inside that breath. This world is not something you stand on. It's something you belong to. The wind that brushes your skin also lifts seeds into the sky. The warmth that stirs your limbs also draws sap up through trees. The rain that kisses your face was once a cloud, a sea, a glacier, a sigh. These are not separate events. They are moments in a shared life. The earth is not beneath you. It is part of you. Just as your body carries breath in and out, the earth moves life through itself. Water through rivers, air through sky, roots through soil, and you through time. Each morning the earth turns its face toward the sun again. Not because it must, but because it simply does. And with that turning, everything stirs. Flowers open, insects rise, birds call, light spills slowly across land and sea. And you, half asleep, begin to wake. This is not just routine, this is rhythm. A choreography older than your name. Your pulse responds to this light. Your thoughts begin to stretch. Your chest begins to lift. You're breathing in more than air. You're breathing in a beginning. And beginnings matter. So do endings, because in every full breath, both are held together. Inhale, and you receive. Exhale, and you release. This is how the planet lives. With every fallen leaf, it lets go. With every new bloom, it begins again. You do this too, whether you notice or not. You release things you no longer need, with each sigh, with each decision, with each moment you let yourself rest, and you welcome what's next, with hope, with hesitation, with a steady rhythm of breath guiding you forward. The earth teaches you that you don't need to rush. Trees grow one ring at a time, mountains rise over eons, even rivers take their time, carving stone not through force but through presence, through showing up day after day, breath after breath. You don't have to be fast to matter. You don't have to be loud to be heard, you just have to continue, like breath, like wind, like the earth turning quietly under stars. And what about those stars? Even they are part of this breath. They give light, which grows leaves, which feeds air, which fuels you. You carry the energy of stars in your cells. The oxygen in your blood began as starlight captured by plants shared through breath. So when you breathe, you are not just exchanging gases, you are completing a circuit. A promise made before you were born. A connection between you and all things that breathe. When the night comes and the sky deepens, the earth breathes differently, slower, quieter. Shadows stretch, sounds soften. You may feel your own breath shift too, more even, more aware. This is not coincidence. This is the body falling back into rhythm with the world. And maybe this is what peace truly is. Not escape, not silence, but alignment. A feeling of returning to something you never left. A feeling of breathing not alone but with everything, with everyone, with the earth. You do not need to understand the science of it to feel the truth of it. You are breathing the same air as the wolves in forests, the whales in oceans, the children in distant cities. You are sharing the breath of ancestors and starlight and stone. You are participating in the ancient song of planet and sky. So when life feels too fast, return to breath. When you feel lost, return to breath. When you don't know what to say or how to move forward, return to breath. The earth is still breathing, and so are you together. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is a presence of its own, thick, wide, stretching between stars and thoughts. Before the first light, before the first atom, there was silence, and from that silence came everything. The universe was born not in noise, but in stillness. An infinite pause, then a single burst. Light, matter, motion, all of it wrapped in a silence so deep it still echoes now, across galaxies, through space, between every breath you take. You live surrounded by sound, footsteps, voices, engines, wind, but beneath all of that, silence remains. Not gone, just quiet, waiting. It holds the structure of reality. Between each heartbeat is a moment of quiet. Between each word, a space. Between stars, a gap wide enough to hold eternity. Silence is not empty. It is the shape that allows everything else to be. In the deepest parts of space, there is no air to carry sound, no wind to stir vibration. And yet those places are not dead. Stars are born there. Galaxies turn. Time unfolds. It all happens in silence so complete that even light travels alone. This silence is not cold. It is not cruel. It is the waiting room of creation. Even here on Earth, silence is where life begins. The moment before a seed cracks open, the stillness of water before the fish moves, the breath held before a baby cries for the first time. Silence is the womb of change, the pause before the pulse, the quiet that makes motion meaningful. Your body knows this. It does not need to be told. Your brain hums with electricity, but it needs rest. Between each thought, there is space. Between each feeling, a breath. Without souffle, the mind cannot hear itself. Without somnolence, there is no knowing. You are made of rhythms, and silence is the space between each beat. The universe too moves in rhythm, not with a drum, but with expansion and gravity. Galaxies form, stretch apart, planets orbit, fall inward. This cosmic dance is measured in silence. Vast spaces with no noise, no interference, just motion, light, and time moving forward. And somehow you are part of that. You're a thought moving through the silence of the cosmos. A small presence, yes, but a real one. The atoms in your body were once scattered in silence, before they found each other, before they built you. They floated, weightless, waiting. The hydrogen you carry in your cells was born in the quiet after the Big Bang. It moved through stars, through dust, through stillness, until it became part of you. You're not separate from silence, you're shaped by it. We often fear silence, fill it with sound. We turn on machines, scroll, speak, hum, but there is a kind of peace that lives only in the quiet, a kind of truth, a knowing. When you sit with silence long enough, it begins to show you things, not loud things, but real things. The softness of your breath, the steady beat of your heart, the weight of your presence. Silence also connects. Two people sitting together, saying nothing, can feel closer than if they spoke for hours. A shared look, a shared moment. These are built in silence, not emptiness, not awkwardness, just presence. And in that presence is possibility. The possibility for change, for thought, for healing. The universe does not rush. It expands into silence. It listens more than it speaks. It trusts the pause. And maybe you can too. Maybe you can sit beneath the stars one night and not ask for answers. Maybe you can just listen. Let the quiet unfold. Let the sky speak in its own slow language. Let your body remember the stillness it came from, the silence that made you, the silence that still holds you. You were born in motion, but you were cradled in quiet, and it is there you will find the shape of everything. Let us move deeper into the quiet now, not as an escape from the world, but as a return to it. Silence is not where things end, it is where things are born. All life begins in stillness. Seeds rest beneath the ground before they sprout. Eggs lie silent before they stir. In the ocean's darkest depths, where light never touches, creatures glow and drift in the hush, untouched by sound. Silence is the cradle of the beginning, the soft place that holds potential before it wakes. Even the human heart listens for silence, not with ears, but with rhythm. Your heart pauses between beats. Your breath pauses between inhales and exhales. These pauses are not mistakes. They are the spaces where balance lives. If everything were constant motion, there would be no pattern, no rest, no meaning. It is in the pause that life becomes music. A song without silence is just noise, and the earth understands this. Listen closely, not to what is said, but to what is not. In a forest between each birdsong, there is space. In a desert, the wind hushes long enough for you to hear your own blood. In the mountains, snow falls without a sound, covering everything in a blanket of breathless wonder. This is not absence. This is presence, distilled. The silence of the planet is not passive, it moves, it shapes. Over centuries, glaciers carve valleys in silence. Rivers deepen canyons with the soft insistence of flow. Erosion is patient. Growth is slow. Even the stones change shape over time, worn smooth by wind, by rain, by still persistence. And you too are shaped this way, not by sudden noise, but by the long quiet work of living. Inside you, neurons fire in silence. Dreams rise in darkness. Healing begins not in urgency, but in deep stillness. Your cells restore when you sleep, when you breathe deeply, when you stop trying to do and simply allow yourself to be. In these quiet states, your body returns to its rhythm, it remembers itself. And so does your mind. In silence, ideas appear like stars on a moonless night, one by one, soft and sudden, not forced, not summoned, just revealed. You cannot demand wisdom from silence. You must wait for it, invite it, sit with it, let it show you what it holds. The universe has spent billions of years unfolding in silence. It will not rush to deliver its truths. This is why deep space is not empty. It is full of waiting. It is thick with potential, with gravity, with dark matter we don't yet understand. These aren't voids, they are possibilities. Whole galaxies bloom in the dark. Stars are born in the quietest places. Their light takes millions of years to reach you. And when it does, it arrives not with sound, but with silence. A silent flicker across the sky, telling stories older than memory. The stars do not speak, but they tell. The moon does not shout, but it teaches. Silence is not weakness. It is depth. A still lake reflects better than a rushing river. And so it is with thought, with truth, with presence. What is still can see clearly. Perhaps this is why silence can feel so sacred. In places of worship, of grief, of awe, we fall silent. Not because there is nothing to say, but because the moment says more than we can. Silence becomes our language when words are too small. And silence can also hold pain. It holds the unsaid, the unspoken, the things too heavy to name, but it does not judge. It simply holds, like space, like time, like a night sky that never demands, only receives. In this way, silence becomes a kind of compassion. Even animals understand this. A deer pauses before stepping into the clearing. A cat waits, listening. A whale sings, then stops, letting the ocean rest. These pauses are not accidental. They are part of a conversation, one that includes listening as much as speaking. You're invited into that conversation, not with noise, but with presence. And so, when you find silence, do not fill it. Let it fill you. Let it move through you. Let it remind you that you do not always need to produce, to speak, to push forward. Sometimes you are enough just as you are, breathing, being, listening. The universe has waited billions of years to be heard. It can wait a little longer. It will speak when you're ready to hear it, not in thunder, but in stillness, because the most powerful truths are not shouted. They arrive like breath, soft and true. Now let yourself rest within the silence. Let your breath slow. Let the world grow soft around you. Feel how the quiet is not emptiness. It is invitation. It welcomes your stillness. It accepts your presence without demand. This is what the stars feel stretched across the night. This is what the earth knows resting between seasons. This is what your body craves even when your mind races ahead. It is not escape, it is homecoming. A return to something that has always been there. Imagine drifting through space, no engines, no sound, just motion without noise, turning gently in an ocean of stars. Your heartbeat becomes the loudest thing, your breath becomes the only rhythm. Around you, the universe continues, planets orbit, galaxies spin, comets sweep past suns, but all of it happens in silence. And yet that silence does not make it less alive. It makes it more sacred, more whole, because in the quiet, every detail becomes clearer. The same is true in your own life. In the rush of sound and distraction, you forget things, you miss the subtleties. But in silence, you begin to notice the way the light hits a wall in the afternoon, the small ache behind your ribs, the memory that rises like mist when nothing else asks for your attention. These things live in you, but you only hear them when you listen. Silence gives meaning to movement. The pause between footsteps, the breath before speech, the stillness between waves. Even the most powerful sound begins in silence. Thunder waits in clouds. A symphony begins in a quiet room. Your own words are born in a breathless second, when your body gathers and prepares. Without silence, there is no intention. Without silence, there is no choice. And silence is a choice. It is something you can offer, to yourself, to others, to the world. When you hold space for stillness, you create room for what matters, for rest, for clarity, for kindness. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is not speak, but listen. Sometimes the most powerful presence you can be is one that does not fill the air, but allows it. Even the earth rests, winter comes, growth slows, the animals grow quiet, trees conserve, the soil pauses. This is not death, it is restoration. This is what allows spring to happen. Life needs silence to reset, to return, to begin again, and so do you. You do not need to earn stillness. You do not need to justify rest. Silence is not something you must deserve. It is your inheritance. You were born from it. You carry it inside you. The quiet between heartbeats, the calm between dreams, the breath you take before deciding. These are your sacred spaces. You don't need to fear them. You only need to return to them. And when you do, something happens. You soften. You notice. You feel the sky above you. You feel the earth below. You remember that you are not the noise in your head. You're not the rush of your schedule. You're a body moving gently through a living world. You're the pause. You're the stillness. You're the silence made flesh. And in that silence you reconnect, not only with yourself, but with everything. With the tree outside your window, with the dust that drifts in sunlight, with the planets turning quietly in the sky. You are part of their rhythm. You're part of their hush. The stars do not ask you to be loud. The universe does not demand performance. It only offers itself, moment by moment, in silence. And it waits for you to notice. So notice. Notice the quiet between thoughts, the stillness between days, the peace that lives beneath all the motion. That is where you are whole. That is where you belong. And even when the world grows noisy again, that silence will remain inside you. Unshaken, unchanging, always waiting for your return.